Folks, unbelievable defense. A little bit here and there, Rob, but at the end of the first half, UB Bulls, your UB Bulls, our UB Bulls lead 30-25 over the Toledo Rockets. I think you're going to take that half if you're UB on the road, Rob.
Yeah, it was back and forth. We went on our runs, they went on their runs, but for the main part, we were, I don't know, it seemed like we were trying to feed down low when we had people up top. I think they were afraid to shoot a little bit, just our front court players, and have them just post up over the big guys. But besides that, it was a good half.
Yeah, and let's face it. If you asked Aisha Fair, it wasn't a very good half for her. 2 for 12, 0 for 4 from 3. I think that makes it all the more surprising. You tell me that she goes 2 for 12 in the first half, and this team is still up by 5. As terrible as that is, I'm sure Coach Jack is taking that as a huge win at halftime.
Oh, yeah, because she does this sometimes, and she'll get her points, so that's what we got to count on. So, to have a 5-point lead after the first half, I'll take that because we know she's going to get her points eventually.
Most definitely. She's going to eventually eat. And speaking of eating, speaking of dominating, speaking of getting what's hers, it was our girl, Alea Gaba, in the first half. 10 points, 6 rebounds. Rob, she's getting it done. She is getting it done.
The Gaba Ghoul. She'll always get it done. She has the size advantage this game, so she's been taking advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, all right, so 30-25, 55 total points. You got to think there's going to be a little bit more offense in the second half. What is the one thing you're saying at halftime if you're Coach Jack? I know neither of us are Coach Jack quality, but what's the one thing that we're saying to this team at half, up 5 on the road at Toledo?
Keep shooting, and on defense, make sure you have the lanes, because in the first half, we kept seeing Toledo. They would literally just drive past the one girl, and she'd be to the basket. So make sure the lanes are covered, and we'll go on an easy victory.
We will go on to easy victory indeed. And speaking of easy victories, we were talking about in the pregame, easy games alone haven't been anything to come by. Getting the schedule, getting these games in. So with that said, what's your outlook for the remainder of the season? What's your goals for the team? What are your expectations? Let's go women's first, and then the men's team.
All right, so women's just keep doing what they're doing. They're winning games. What are we, 7-3 in the MAC?
7-3 in the MAC. Yep.
Just keep winning I think second, third, fourth, all the 3 losses, and the first place has 1, but they have a lot of games behind. So just keep winning. Just keep building up the seeding. They're not doing anything wrong right now. They're winning. So just keep winning. Just don't change anything. They're doing good. If they have to change something, do it before the MAC tournament so they're solid for the MAC tournament.
Of course, it is all about that MAC tournament. All roads lead to Cleveland, Ohio. It'll be obviously a little disappointing. We won't be able to necessarily take it over as we typically do. But with that said, the last team to raise MAC banners were these UB basketball teams, Rob. So they're obviously both going to be looking to do it again. On the men's side of things, what are your thoughts there? There's been a lot of variance the last couple weeks, and they've had some strong performances.
Yeah, they got to start playing a full 40-minute game. You kind of saw that last game against Miami. No, who do we play?
I thought it was Miami.
Yeah, Miami. We kind of saw that in that game, but in these past games, we've seen a rough first half, just abysmal, and second half they outscore the opponent by 20 points. So if they could just play a full 40-minute game with how they're playing, it's another I think they'll go climb up the standings and get a top 4 seed.
It's about top 4 seeds for both these UB teams, making it easy for them in any potential MAC tournament situation. So obviously for the men's team, Rob, you got Jonathan Williams leading in scoring. You got Mbalo just dominates anybody on the boards. You got Segu doing a little bit of everything, leading the MAC in 3-point percentage as well as, leading the team in assists. And then you have Graves, who honestly is still a lot of people's favorite player, and he's shown that he could easily be a guy who scores 20 points, can get 10 assists, can, contribute, very strong numbers. So with that said, with all that taken into account, who is your wild card for this Bulls men's team as far as how far they can ultimately go?
I think it starts right there with the senior, Javon Graves. We've seen games where Janathan is the star player. We've seen games with Josh the star player. We've seen Rondo star player. This season, Javon's had some great games, but he hasn't been the star player, and that's what he's there for. He's their captain. So I think if he can start playing in that star player role, and if we have secondary players into Nathan and Josh and Rondo, we're going to be flying through this MAC with how everyone's playing. There's no dominant team besides Toledo right now.
Couldn't have said it better. Now, yeah, you look at some of the performances from Javon. Only 7 points against Ball State, only 5 points at Kent. Both those games on the road. You look at his last 3 home games, 16, 18, and 12 points. So he's gotten in a little bit more of a rhythm with that Alumni Arena cooking, because that's the big thing. I agree with what you said. I think Jonathan is a guy who can put 15 to 20. And Ball is going to get it done on the board. Saguz obviously can get it done in transition. Love what I saw from Skogman a couple games ago or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think ultimately if Graves is that 15 plus 7 to 8 assists / rebound guy, that's the ultimate X factor in getting UB another MAC championship banner for Alumni Arena.
Yeah, and you said it best. You said he plays his great games at home. We love to call the Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse in Cleveland Alumni Arena West. So there it is right there.
Seriously, AAW. And speaking of AAW, make sure you're giving Robbie Ryan 108 a follow. Make sure you're following TrainwreckSports.com and, of course, at BulletPoint716 for all of the top and most consistent Bulls analysis. So, Robbie, you sticking with your prediction? You think we get a little offense outburst and maybe these scores go up, or you think it's going to be much of the same? They're going to be in the sludge in the second half.
I think it's going to be – both teams are still going to be scoring high, but I'm going to keep it with it. Maybe Toledo is a little closer. I said 74-63 for. I'm going to go with a 73-68 victory. So I'm going to close the gap because it seems like this is a game of runs, and it's going to be a close game the whole way through.
Okay, I admire. I think changing your pick halfway through, it takes some motsy. So I appreciate that motsy, courtesy of Robbie Ryan. Again, Robbie Ryan 108. Make sure you give him a follow at BulletPoint716. Let's get it done. Let's wrap up this game over Toledo, solidify that top 4 standing in the MAC for UB Women's Hoops. Let's get it done. Let's go Bulls.